You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I'm back. Rodrance for Black and White Sports. Oh, there are only certain entities out there involved with sports that are willing to call out LeBron James. As you know, generally speaking, it is never part of the mainstream media, never anybody involved with newspapers, radio, ESPN, Fox Sports, etc., etc. Well, a prominent Denver Gazette writer has called out LeBron James. He has not only called out LeBron James, he has flat said the NBA would be better off if LeBron James retired. We will get to that article in just a second. Very quickly, make sure you go over and check out blackandwhitenetwork.com. Exclusive content for premium members. And if you are a silver member, you can jump in on live streams with myself and Mr. John Matrix. This sports writer is echoing many of the things we have been saying about LeBron. You have heard me say it on ratings videos. You have heard me say it on live streams. You have heard Matrix say it. LeBron James certainly will not leave the NBA in a better place than when he found it, like the league that was handed to him from Kobe and Michael. Paul Klee, Denver Gazette, check the guy out. The NBA will be better off when LeBron James retires. The NBA will be better off when LeBron James retires. The league has a self-made crisis on its hands, and the face of the league isn't helping one bit. Very quickly, frankly, LeBron James has got to go, and they have got to get a leader in the NBA with a spine, which means Adam Silver has also got to go. They have got to bring in a commissioner that will re-embrace the fact that sports is supposed to be about tradition and American values, and sports should not divide fans, but should bring fans together. The commissioner should be the leading charge in that. Frankly, all the commissioners need to go, it seems. The NBA playoffs open Saturday in the most fitting manner possible, with a double standard that benefits the star player. James violated the COVID-19 protocols by attending a tequila party with rapper Drake and actor Michael B. Jordan, ESPN reported. Nuggets fans are old enough to remember when Michael Porter Jr. was sidelined for a week thanks to contact tracing. LeBron's punishment, nada. Let's face it, if this would have been any other player outside of maybe Kevin Durant or Steph Curry or one of the top 5 players in the league, every other player would have been suspended. Plain and simple. We know that. Rules for thee and not for 23. Quote, if it was a nobody, they would put him in a health and safety protocol. TNT analyst and NBA Hall of Famer Charles Barkley said Saturday on the Jenkins and Jones podcast. Ain't no bleeping way LeBron James is going to be sat out on health and safety protocols. Chuck is right, and it's not a good thing when the league has the credibility of the WWE, you know. Frankly, Paul, the WWE has more credibility than the NBA these days and better ratings in the regular season. Quote, the NBA ain't got guts. Barkley added, the lack of credibility is part of what turned folks off in the NBA in a big way. TV ratings for the playoffs last year were down 37% according to The Athletic. The NBA Finals with LeBron James and the Lakers were down 49% just from the year before. By the way, they were a little bit down the year before. They're way down from, I believe, 2011, 2012. The numbers for the, quote, NBA on ABC, which we've talked about in my ratings videos, which are now on Black and White Live, this year were down 10% from last year, an all-time low. The Athletic reported that's a crisis. And a star-driven league, that's a reflection of the biggest star, James. As the Nuggets and Blazers tip off a juicy playoff series, it's hard to imagine this NBA longs for eyeballs. Nuggets fans poured into Ball Center with a buzz that hasn't been felt in over a year. Nikola Jokic's selfless game is a real-time lesson in sharing is caring, and the Joker found Porter for an early bucket that pumped up the volume at the Ball Arena. Damian Lillard's shooting range can be acquired only in workouts that extend way past a normal man's bedtime. This series is flat-out action ball, with the added attraction of lovable stars. 7 games, please. If the NBA was smart, it would start its rebranding right now. Promote the stars who care about the health of the game. LeBron James only cares about one thing: a radical leftist agenda. Let's be real. That's why I believe he's headed towards some kind of a political move after he quits playing. Lift up Lillard, whose strong, proud leadership stands as a model for 15-year-old hoopers everywhere. Celebrate Jokic as a humble superstar as the league has ever seen. Run down the all-star rosters, and you'll be hard-pressed to identify a more talented area of basketball than this one. You can't. This is it. Yet folks are changing the channel in droves. And that's not all on James, of course, but it starts at the top. Always does. And he's at the tip top. He's an NBA all-timer who manages to compromise the NBA at every turn. This season, he whined from the start about the shortened offseason to the finish, the fantastic play-in games. Whoever came up with that shit needs to be fired, James said of the play-in games. Well, I hate to break it to you, LaChina, but the play-in games are probably here to stay. Even Adam Silver's leaning that way. Those aren't the things the NBA wanted to do. Those are the things the NBA needed to do. And the face of the league dumped all over the league that's paid him $347 million. Talk about privilege. We know LaChina James has run his mouth about oppression. He's made $347 million. I mean, really. And honestly, by the time you factor in endorsements, LeBron is broke over a billion last year. The LBJ Act is tired and extends off the court to the social justice movement that triggered the league's free fall from being popular. If James truly cared about societal inequalities, he would challenge China. If he cared about safety in low-income neighborhoods, he would speak out against the record violence taking place in low-income neighborhoods. He doesn't actually care. It's an act. It's a flop. The crazy part is people buy it. Not smart people, Paul. Not smart people. That's why the NBA ratings are horrible. Instead of criticizing the Chinese government for its myriad of human rights abuses, James criticized free speech. Instead of celebrating the cop who saved a woman from getting stabbed, he tweeted a target on the cop, "You're next." The LBJ Act is good for no one except LBJ. Judging by the ratings and the overall interest, a bunch of former fans see through it. I am a former LBJ fan. Me. And it seems like Paul is too. As a former LBJ fan, I can't be the only one who believes his exit will be good for the game as a whole. I can't be the only one who watched him crumble to the court, cover his eyes, writhe in merciless pain, feign at a gunshot wound, and hit a big three. Give me a break. James should get an Academy Award for these acting performances. Nobody's watching the Oscars either. Bravo, Paul Klee. Great article. I believe he echoes many of the things we have talked about. And let's be real. The only way the NBA will ever return to what it used to be is for LeBron James to leave the league. Nobody wants to watch a league that he is involved with. I don't know how they ever come back. When he stepped up last year and basically said half of America or more, probably more like 60%, did not need to support a certain president. Well, let's be real. He didn't want the support of those president's followers either. So the TV got turned off. You grabbed Marxist ideals and you had to negotiate to get back on the court. People got to remember, the NBA wouldn't have come back, okay? They wouldn't have come back to play in the bubble last year if Adam Silver hadn't bent the knee to LeBron James in order to drive their social justice message. That was the agreement. That is how Black Lives Matter ended up back on the court. So while everybody was stuck in their houses, while everybody was home, they had no interest in stepping up like most sports leagues did, step up and play for the fans. They didn't care about the fans. This league has totally lost its blue-collar work ethic that it had built up in the 80s, 90s, and the early 2000s. These players are completely spoiled. They're completely spoiled, and they all support leftist ideals. And this nonstop silence, and it is deafening, definitely silent when it comes to China. LeBron James will run his mouth about everything, but when it comes to Chinese injustice, you can hear a pin drop. He's a church mouse. He's completely null and void. He's gone. He's out of there. He's a ghost. He's gutless. And the only way the NBA will ever recover, and we have said it, Adam Silver's got to go. LeBron James has got to go. And now you are getting prominent newspaper writers, shockingly enough. Okay, many of them are very, very liberal. They're not going to speak out on this. And here we have one from the Denver Gazette that has said LeBron James needs to retire. Make sure you hit subscribe. Tell me what you think, black and white sports fans. Peace. I'm out till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.